carry on with our lesson this morning, grade 9 mathematics. And of course, it's very important to realize that whenever you have any queries, please feel free at any time to ask. And of course, we will take you through a wide range of problems. And the page was not responding now. Let me just see what can happen here. Of course, we are just trying to really find a way to just share the work. I hope that you had a good time with the test yesterday. I noticed that some of you have been sending me messages, clarity-seeking questions, which I have done my best to answer. And I do hope that everybody got a chance to finally finish the test. Right now, I'm just trying to launch the work. I'm trying to portray it here, but it appears that it's taking a bit of time. Let's just try it once more. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to zoom into the other. So basically what we'll be doing today is to look at the work, of course, mathematics being, yes, there we are. Right. Right, so grade 9 mathematics, we are now, I'm sure that you can now see the PowerPoint. I'm just going to maximize the screen shortly so that you can be able to see. So, right, it was taking a bit long to show. I just wanted to maximize the screen, and I do hope that you can still see. It's a bit blank on my side, but I'm sure that it will be able to reflect shortly. Okay. Right, it is processing. So I do hope that you had a good test yesterday. Is there anyone who perhaps wants to share with me what were the challenges there as we wait for the recovery of this document? Is there anyone who wants to share with us? I can see that some of you are already in the group chat, and that is where you are now discussing from. And I do hope that you can all see the slide that I'm trying to share with you here. And of course, this is what we should be having now. Okay. Right, as you can see, the document is now on 12% and it's trying to, right, we finally found it right, it's correct. I can see the first slide is now uploaded. Let's hope that all the others are also able to save it. And then of course we can zoom directly into the first one. I'm just wondering why it took so long this morning for the slides to upload. But I do hope that everything happens for a reason. Right, I can see your chats. Unkabetsi says, yes, I also raised it with Sir, but I got it correct. There was a question, I think question 2, the answer was 12, was negative 12. But that option was not there. Instead, it was a positive 12 years. I spoke to one of you yesterday raising the same matter. I'm aware of that technicality where it was supposed to be 12, which was negative, but now it became, there was no negative number there. It was only a positive number. All right, so we are trying to, we have corrected that. I know that this is not the only one. You also experienced some challenges in relation to some of the questions, especially question 5. But without any waste of time, I want us to zoom directly now into this question here. I'm quite aware of the fact that you had multiple choice and you had to choose the correct answers. But you will recall that in mathematics, you don't just choose, you know, you actually work it out before you can select the correct answer. So it's very important to work out the number there. It's very important to work out the challenge. And of course, definitely that is what we did. So I see that you, Mkabet says she wrote a grade 7 test. I think so. All right, we will sort out some of those technicalities. But the bottom line is that all the tests were uploaded. The last question, the only challenge there was just to put it on the system. But I did set the test. I'm the one who set the test. I see there's a question has come in there that there was an error in one of the questions, which is question 5. But we'll definitely come to that, and then you will see how the question was. Now, can we calculate this product here? Negative 16 multiplied by negative 3. So I just want us to now, okay, Mkaweti says correct. Remember that if you multiply a negative number by a negative number, you get a positive number. So if you multiply a negative multiplied by a negative gives you positive. So 16 multiplied by 3 will give you 48. So 48 was the correct answer. This is what I wanted to test. The skill here was to check whether you understood the relationship between negative numbers. If you multiply a negative number by a negative number, you should be able to get a positive number. And of course, that is what we did. So that is what we did. And then of course, the next one is B. I see that Unkabetse as well as Nosipo has already answered it together with Tando. Again, I see there's a number there. It looks like it's a Chinese writing there or Mandarin. I couldn't read that. Unkabetse once again came with, oh, it's Kai. All right, thank you, Kai. Thank you very much. Kai, I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Kai, is that the correct way to pronounce it? I hope so. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Right, 19 multiplied by 2 is 38. and because the 2 is negative, therefore you have negative 38. Thank you very much indeed, Kai. The answer there is negative 38, and I see Unkabetse is already at the last one, saying that the answer is x to the power of 6. So Unkabetse, you are right when you add the exponents together to get positive 6 there. Because when you multiply 2 powers with the same base, you add the exponents. But don't forget, please don't forget, we also have a negative sign. One of the x there is negative. So hence, the answer, if you multiply a negative number with a positive number, you will definitely get a negative answer there. So it will be negative x all to the power 6. So that is what we have, negative x to the power of 6. So that is what we have. That is what we have there. And of course, basically, that is what we have now dealt with. So we can just zoom into now the next question where we had to look at the patterns. Right. I hope that we are moving. The first things first, to find the rule, and thereafter the next 3 terms. First things first. Right, of course, we want to give a rule just to describe the relationship between the sequences or numbers in the sequences. And of course, we need to use this rule to find the next 3 terms. What we've done here, I see Unkabetse has already found the next 2. And you say it is 40 followed by 48, right? Now, I'm sure for you to come to this conclusion, you must have come across a rule, or you must have worked out a rule. What is the rule that you came up with, Unkabetse? Or which rule did you use to find the next 2 terms, 48 and 40 and 48? Can you share the rule with us? If you can, please share the rule with us. I can see you have, okay, you multiply, or you use the multiples of 8. Great. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times, right, that's correct. So the multiples of 8 in sequence, I can agree with you there. But then another person can say you are just simply adding 8. I'm sure it makes sense. If you add 8. If you add 8 in A there, therefore, you know, 32 plus 8 will give you 40, as Unkabetse said. And again, if you add 8, you'll get 48. And if you add 8 again to 48, you'll definitely get 56. So the next 3 terms will be 40, 48, and 56. Right. Nosipho Pungula has already done B, and in B, Nosipho says the rule is to multiply the previous term by 2. That is what Nosipho says, Nosipho Pungula, and I want to agree with you fully, Nosipho, that's correct. And to find the next 3 terms, once again, you multiply the previous term by 2. 720 times 2 gives you 1,440. And then 1,440, If you multiply that with 2, you get 2,880. And then the last one there, if you multiply the same, 2,880 by 2, you'll get 5,760. All right. That is the rule which will give you the next 3 terms. Right, let's carry on now just to find the rule for C. I know that some of the learners may have struggled here when it comes to this rule. Some of you may have struggled. Right, so the next one, of course, let us carry on. Right, 1,440. Yeah, I see what you mean, Unkabetsi. I've read your comment. I think the difference with this test is that is the same, but the one that you wrote, we gave you an option of selecting the correct answers. So you didn't have to work out anything on the online. You just have to work it out. You just had to work out your problems on paper and then select the right answers. Okay, I see what you mean. We'll have to check with. I'll have to check with those who put in the tests on the paper. I can see Cleo. I've also read your comment there. Maybe what we will do, Unkabet, I see your hand. Maybe what we will do before the end of this, I will just zoom directly into the other test just to see if that is the one that you wrote. It's possible that the one that I'm doing now is not necessarily the one you wrote. And of course, we'll look at that. But basically, the structure is the same. And the topics, the patterns, and so on and so forth. Right, and then if you look at the last one, this is a cube number. I've deliberately given you a cube number because I wanted you to demonstrate that the first term will be 1 to the power of 3, which is 1 times 1 times 1. And then which is followed by the next one there, which is 2 to the power of 3. That's 2 times 2 times 2. Remember that 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. And then 4 times 2 is 8. So that is how we find it. And then the next one, of course, is 3. If you multiply 3 by 3, once more you get 9, and then 9 times 3 gives you 27. And then the fourth one, as you can see, it's 64. Again, that is 4 to the power of 3. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So 64 is the correct answer. Now, to do the next one, of course, you'll have 5 to the power of 3. And then 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So I'm sure you will be able to see this is how we did it. And then obviously you need to link it to 6 as well. 6 times 6 is 36. And thereafter you multiply 36 by 6. And the same goes for 7, where you get 243. So the second is 216, and then 343. 6 to the power 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is 216. And then 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 7 is 343. So that is how you find the next 3 terms. So the rule is a cube number. Cube numbers, meaning that is the rule. So the first term, you cube it, it's 1 cubed, 2 cubed, and then 3 cubed. So, and then 4 cubed. Great. That's how we multiply, or 4 to the power 3, if you may call it. Excuse me. Now we have to carry on. I'm sure you came across this question where you had to do the perimeter as well, to determine the perimeter of a square where you are given the length. The length in this case is 15 centimeters. If you wrote the other one, the difference may have been maybe 1.5 meters. Maybe the other one had 1.5, this one is 15. Nevertheless, I have taught you that the perimeter of any shape is the distance around the edge of the shape. That is the perimeter of the shape, the distance around the edge of a particular shape. So that is the perimeter. Now I want us to find the perimeter of a square with the length of 15 centimeters. The length in this case is 15 centimeters. And all that I want us to do now is just to find the perimeter. How are we going to find the perimeter? Let's find the perimeter. Let us find the perimeter. We have to find now the perimeter of the shape. Remember that the perimeter is the distance around the edge of the shape. Right. Of course, if you have to now calculate the perimeter of a square, all that you need to do, I see Tando as well as Nosipo. Even Pulan and Unkabet have already answered. You came to 60 meters, right? Nosipo says 60 meters. Pulan says 60 centimeters. I see that Nosipo has just gone on to demonstrate that you multiply 15 by 4. Great. Tandong Gubani as well has multiplied 4 by 15. So great. I fully agree with you guys, because the perimeter of any shape, especially in a square, is the distance around the edge of the shape. And in the case of a square, you may simply define it as 4 sides. 4 sides, meaning that all that you need to do is just to add the 4 sides together, and then you should be able to be fine. So 4 sides, and then that's it. P will be equal to 4S, which is 4 sides, 4 multiplied by 15. So 4 times 15 is 60. All right. 4 times 15 is 60. Right, and then the next one. The next one, of course, you need to calculate the area. Remember the formula to calculate the area of a square. remember the formula to calculate the area of any square there. How are you going to calculate the area of a square? So the area of a square is equal to side multiplied by side. We have always defined it. This is particularly in the square. Alternatively, you can just multiply the length with the length. So both of these signify one thing. Basically, you are just multiplying the length by itself. And indeed, you are given the length. We said that the length is 15 centimeter. And then all that you need to do is to multiply the length with 15 centimeters. So now you will have to now multiply 15 by 15 and tell us what is the area. Tando Ngubane says that A is equal to S times S, which is 15 times 15. And of course, Tando Ngubane has got 225 square centimeters. Remember the square. Tando, don't forget to put the square. So it will be the square centimeters, not square meters, square centimeters. So I fully agree. Tando, thank you very much indeed. And Tando, can you please carry on with the next one where you need to calculate now the area of the rectangle? Remember the rectangle, the area of a rectangle, not a triangle. In 2.3. I see you say A is equal to BH. Is that Nosipo Pungula says BH? So now substitute Nosipo. If you can substitute, I'll be happy. Nosipo, I just want to remind you once again that the area of a rectangle is given by the formula length multiplied by breadth, or L times B. Okay, I see Nosipo says A is equal to 200 times 120, yes, precisely. It will be 200 multiplied by 120 because the length is 200 meters and the breadth is 120 meters. So I agree with you. The length is 200 meters and the breadth is 120 meters. So can we now calculate the two? So if you multiply both 200 times 120, what do you get? Right, I see that Tando says if you multiply the length by the breadth, 200 times 120 there, you get 24,000, yes. You get 24,000, that's the correct answer there. Remember 120 times 100 will give you 12,000. So if you add those together, then you'll get 24,000 square meters. So that is the answer. Let's quickly resolve 2.4 before we move forth. 2,4, where we need to calculate now the perimeter of a rectangle. Yes, the perimeter, Nosipo says 2 open bracket length plus breadth. And then, of course, 2 into 200 plus 120. So this becomes 120 plus 200, it's equal to 320. And if you multiply that by 2, you get 640. Great, great, great. 640 will be the correct answer there. 640. Right, and then the last one, of course, not the last one, precisely the one just before the last one. Can we now carry on? Right, of course, you want to now check. Lerato is 38 years old and she is 12 years older than her brother. And then what we need to do here is just to check how old will Lerato's brother be when Lerato turns 8 years old. How old will Lerato's brother be when Lerato turns 80? So Lerato is currently 38 years old. And how old will the brother be? And then you need to thereafter simplify the few. But let's start with the first one where you need to now express the relationship between their ages just by a formula. Remember, Lerato is 38. I see that Unkabet says 38 minus x is equal to, or are you meant to say 12? Yes, I agree with you. Initially you said 18, but then I see you corrected that. So 38 minus x. Great. If you just subtract x there, you definitely get 12. Okay, that's what you said. And I fully agree with you. Because if the brother's age is x, so it means if you subtract the brother's age from Lerato's age, then you get 12. That's correct. That is correct. Because remember, Lerato is 12 years older than her brother. So if you want to calculate, I see Unkabet has already calculated together with Pulani. Pulani says 80 minus 26 is 54. And then Unkabet says 80 minus 12 is 68. So can we entertain the two answers? Pulani's answer is 54, and then Unkabet's answer is 68. We are talking about B now. How old will Lerato's brother be when Lerato turns 80? So who is correct? Is it Pulani or Unkabetsi? I want us to check the two so that we can address any misconception there. Unkabetsi says 68 years. I see Kai also says 68. Pulani I say 54 because the age difference is 12. All right, so far we have two people who agree. Unkabet says because Lerato is 12 years older, meaning we should subtract 12 from 80. So 80 minus 12. Thank you, Pulani, for your explanation there, and thank you, Unkabet. But I see Kai agrees with Unkabet. So far there are two people who agree. Which is correct? Who are we going to agree with? Tandong one says, I agree with you, Unkabetse. Right, we don't agree with Unkabetse just for the sake of agreeing. I see Kanya as well says, I agree with Unka. I hope that you don't just agree with her because she's your friend, but because you have applied your mind on the calculations and you have seen that Unkabetse's calculation is correct. Well, Unkabetse says, because Lerato is 12 years older, then this means we must just subtract 12 from the age of Lerato in order to get the age of Lerato's brother. And I fully agree. All right, Tando says, yes, she agrees. In fact, Tando agrees Not for the sake of agreeing, but Tando has calculated as well. Great. So 80 minus 12 will give us 68. So 68 is the correct answer there. So I hope that Pulani can see what we have done, because if Lerato's age is 80 now, and then if you subtract 12, you'll definitely get 68. Remember, that's the, yes, I see Pulani, thank you very much indeed. Now we are proceeding to C, where we just simplify. Let's just simplify the two quickly. We are just simplifying x to the power of 3 minus 2x to the power of 3. Right. Right. We are now, remember, these are the like terms. We are now simplifying. We just have to simplify, and it should not be difficult for us to simplify, especially because we have the like terms. So if you have the like terms, then it can be easier. It becomes easy to simplify. Can we simplify the two? Right. I see Nosipo Pungula says x to the power 3 minus 2x to the power 3, and then of course 1x to the power 3 minus 2x to the power 3. And the final answer that you have there is minus x to the power of 3. Yes, I fully agree with Nosipo Pungula there. The answer will be negative x to the power 3. Great. Remember, this is just 1x to the power 3. Remember, we don't write that 1. But we know the 1 is there. I'm talking about the coefficient of x to the power 3 in the first category here. Now the coefficient of x to the power 3 in the second term is negative 2. So you have two coefficients there. The first one is positive 1. The second one is negative 2. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So hence you are supposed to have negative 1 x to the power 3. But because we don't write the 1, you just put it as negative x to the power of 3. That's how you write it. Right. The last one, s to the power 4 plus 3s to the power 3 minus 3s minus 2s, and then plus s to the power 4. Obviously, you may group the like terms there. And then, of course, if you have checked thoroughly, you'll see that s to the power 4 appears twice. And then you should be able to just add the two. S to the power 4 plus s to the power 4. They should give you 2s to the power of 4. And then, of course, the next one is to collect the like terms. And then you can see as well, we have negative 3s minus 2s. And this gives us a minus 5s. So if you have calculated correctly, you should be able to come up with the following answer here. 2s to the power 4 minus, in fact, plus 3s to the power 3 minus 5s. And the last one clearly was just to complete the table. We have done this many times. Remember, right now, I just showed you that 3 to the power 3 will give you 27. But because it's negative 3, you'll have negative 27 there. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. And then you just multiply the negative 27 by 3, and then you subtract 4. You do the same with the rest. Negative 2 to the power 3 gives you negative 8, and negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Negative 24 minus 4 is negative 28. So if x is negative 2, if x is negative 2, then y will be equal to negative 28. So you can see on the screen, I've put negative 28. I know that some of you spoke about this question, the last one where you had 14 marks. Everyone complained about this section. So if x is 0, then you have 0 minus 4, which is negative 4. So if x is equal to 0, then y will be equal to negative 4. So basically, you just said something like this. This is how these are the questions that I've submitted to the HOD so that they could put them in for you online. So the last one, of course, if x is 3, you just multiply 3 to the power 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. Then you multiply 27 by 3, and then you subtract 4. So that's how you get your answers. It shouldn't be a difficult question. Bear with us for the question 5 there, and then we'll find a way to make it up to you. By the way, you will get your results as soon as possible. If you have not received them by now, you will receive them later during the course of the week. Until we meet again tomorrow, this lesson was brought to you by the STEM Digital School in partnership with the Sasol Foundation. Thank you very much indeed.
Yo.